So people were saying that a 21-year-old named Zailey has been sold and trafficked into Tijuana, Mexico. And apparently she's been held for ransom.
I won $10,000.
$10,000?
Guys, there is so much more to this story, and some of it is not true. Now, she has been found by the FBI, but she's still in Mexico. So what I'm gonna do today is explain this whole situation so you guys can see the bigger picture. So please push out the story by leaving a comment and liking the video. So let's get into who is Zailey. According to Zailey's mother, April, in an interview that she had, she said that Zailey is a firecracker. Fun, full of life, loving, low tolerance for BS. Judging off her TikTok, she's definitely very creative, and she definitely has a sense of humor.
That girl has been through a lot. There's some things that girl has experienced since she was 4 years old. There was a particular person that we knew that was doing some really, really raunchy. We went to court for 6 years. And I slowly started to watch her dwindle at that point. So yeah, I feel like I failed her as a parent. She turned 18, she got a settlement, and she moved out on her own. She started hanging out with some people that, in my opinion, were unsavory. If I was in position to work with her through that, she may not have made some of the decisions.
She ended up suffering from a drug addiction and mental health issues.
2021, where she would call me and tell me that she was in California and she was still posting like everything was fine, but she was telling me that she was having, suicidal thoughts. But this is a normal behavior pattern for what she's dealing with.
Reed says she's been estranged from her daughter for a few years. Flores has left town before during her struggles with mental illness and drug abuse.
It came so bad that she attempted to commit S.
I missed a couple days of work and I monitored her, and it just got weird immediately. She was just paranoid. She wasn't here. She wasn't here.
And it turns out she was diagnosed with schizophrenia. You have someone who has had an extreme emotional life event. She had to relive that for 6 years, going to court. And you have her suffering from a really terrible addiction. I personally feel all of that mixed together is what triggered her schizophrenia. And obviously because of that, she has to take medication so she can be normal.
Without them, like non-verbal even to that, after a certain amount of time without her meds.
At some point, she ended up moving back to Vegas with her mother, and they end up having a huge argument and a fight.
And I told her, you can stay, but you will not disrespect me in this house. We're here to care for you. We're here to show you love. You need help. Stay for about 2 days.
While the mother was staging the house, going to room, Zailey ended up running away.
I made my next round. She was gone. She didn't say bye or nothing to nobody.
So she ended up coming back to LA again and was in the streets ever since.
It was a text message. It was the address that was on her medical records from when I picked her up from the hospital to let her know that I knew where she may or may not be going. As long as I know what state or city you're in, that's all I can ask for at this point, because you still don't want to sit down. We had no communication, her and I, from that point. She did reach out to one of her sisters, and it was very vague and dry. She didn't call anybody. Zailey wouldn't even keep her phone on with phone service.
Maybe she wasn't mentally capable of doing any of this. So at some point, do you feel like you possibly failed her as a parent?
Yeah.
Late November, Zailey was in LA, in the streets, homeless, and she ended up meeting a man named Ricardo.
We met one morning when I was on my way to the beach, and I was just riding my bike. So I was at the train station in downtown LA, just drawing some stuff. I brought a notebook with me so I could draw. Doing some artwork. That's when she walked up to the station and noticed what I was drawing and asked to see if she could take a look at my artwork, and admired it. And I was like, oh, you're into artwork too? She showed me some of the stuff that she had done, and she's a pretty good artist, She does a lot of portraits and stuff, and I do graffiti style artwork.
I guess instead of going to the beach, he decided to take her to his home to give her breakfast, and they end up building a really good relationship.
We were friends platonically for like the first few weeks that we were hanging out,
And Ricardo decided to help her and take her off the streets and let her stay with him. Now let's get into who is Ricardo.
I was born in Los Angeles, and I was raised in Compton. I grew up around gangs. I have family members that are gang members, but
to myself, I got shot in the head a couple of years ago.
I've been shot twice. I've been stabbed a few times, and I'm on disability, and I do work on the side.
Look, I drew this.
Yeah, look. Your dad draw that. Your dad did it.
He's 44 years old and he actually has kids. Now, allegedly, before he got his place before government assistance, he was actually homeless himself. According to a source, his ex-girlfriend escaped him. Apparently, allegedly, he was abusive. Now, there is no evidence of this whatsoever, but there is this Facebook post that he wrote, basically saying that he was a bad person and apologizing to her, and he even said that he was going to commit S. So as you can see, we have two people here, Zailey, Ricardo, who have mental health issues. That wasn't the only thing though that they had in common.
Our values and everything were just all enmeshed with each other. I never ever met anyone ever that's brought me peace like she has. If I'm over here snapping at traffic, she'd be able to just, you know, bust out a Bible verse and really bring me back to reality.
She likes to paint, I like to paint, and she likes poetry, and I also do that. We had a lot of shit in common, you know? And then she went to the mental hospital right after that. She was not taking her meds again, in really bad shape.
December, early December, it's like after Thanksgiving, she ended up getting like nonverbal where she wasn't able to talk.
When she got to the mental hospital, she reached out to me and she said she had feelings for me, and I was like, well, really? I mean, I liked her too. And we ended up becoming boyfriend and girlfriend. I mean, after she was doing with me, but it wasn't even like a sexual thing. You know?
Now, after New Year's, Zailey and Ricardo end up confessing their love for each other.
You know, I was like, damn, I really am in love with you. And she was like, in love with me as well. She said she loved me and she wanted us to have a family.
And they end up discussing and talking about plans for the future.
I had already discussed getting married and stuff. We already made some plans and shit to eventually move over to Guadalajara, to be going and having a ranch in Jalisco by her dad. The cost of everything else is way cheaper out there, you know, food and everything else. Well, we're gonna go to the apartment first, and then in the meanwhile find a piece of property to buy and shit. You know, that was like the plan. She was constantly
talking to her dad over the phone. Her mom never responded to her phone calls. And we were trying to reach out to her mom. I wanted to go meet her. She wanted me to meet her mom, and her mom was never answering her phone calls or anything. So finally, she's like, you know what? Just go meet my dad. My dad's, you know, he's been talking to me, and they were talking on the phone.
January 4th, Zailey sent me a text message. She didn't tell me that she was going to Mexico. She was just reaching out.
They end up taking action and heading down to Mexico to see what type of apartments are available and if they finally wanted to move out there and make a bond. I'm going to show you all the events until she was missing.
We left on the 10th of January. The first day she didn't want to go into Mexico, so we ended up just getting a hotel in San Diego, in National City at the Roadway Inn. We went shopping the next day.
Where? Sorry.
San Isidro.
Right before the border where you can park your cars. I'm aware of that.
Right. There's outlets and stuff right there. We went to Guitar Center and bought a banjo and harmonica, and we were just hanging out and by the border, and she ended up saying that she was, you know, she was down to go out there finally, and so we went to Mexico across walking 2:25 p.m. She had no passport, neither do I. You can go to Tijuana and come back with just an ID. She had a copy of her ID. We crossed at the San Isidro border crossing, and we caught a cab right at the right we crossed over. There's like a little cab station right there with a convenience store, and from there we took the cab into downtown into Revolution Avenue.
While they went over there, they realized that their mobile service was not working in Mexico. Not only that, he noticed that Zailey was acting a little bit different. If you keep watching, I'm going to explain why.
We got dropped off on Revolution, like at the north end of the street. There's like a big arch monument there. And we walked southbound from there, heading into that little downtown district, and started shopping right there, actually, right away. We bought a ring at the first shop that we saw. Bought her like a little tiger's eye ring and a poncho. And then we went and got some ice cream over at 42 Flavors of Ice Cream, which is next to the Pangea Cafe. The person we were going to meet with, he never responded to us.
While he was there, I believe Ricardo started to have a little bit of culture shock. It was very different to him. Not only that, it is on the border of America. Me, myself, I have been between two borders of Mexico and Texas, and I will tell you, it's a totally different feeling and not a good one.
It was not what I expected. When the vibe was just kind of creepy with the police activity going on everywhere, with the, you know, they have the lights on constantly.
The reason why Mexican police do that is to stop crime from happening, because they feel if they have the lights on and people who are trying to commit crime, they see the lights, they're gonna not do anything. I think it's just a way to show them we're here, don't try it.
And then we used the Wi-Fi at the Carl's Jr. there on Revolution. We looked up some apartments on Facebook Marketplace, and from there we went over and got some tacos like about a block or two north, south south of that. Once it was getting a little later, we started noticing like a lot of the shops started like rolling up their doors. When it was starting to get late, like almost nighttime, I was in a rush to get out of there, and I was asking Zailey, let's go. It just didn't seem like the place to be the longer we were there. I was making our way back towards the north, towards the U.S. side, find a cab. We were close to each other, and then a couple of times she would wander off looking at souvenirs and stuff. I just kept reminding her, like, stay close to me, you know? So we were moving through this crowd. It's just so much traffic and people there. It's like New York, kind of, but more chaotic. When I look back, when I got to the cab, she was nowhere in sight.
Now, in this interview with Nique at night, Ricardo gives two contradictions when Zailey went missing.
And then we looked up some apartments on Facebook Marketplace, and we arranged to go look at them, but we never actually went to go see them at all because she ended up getting separated from me, and that's where
I'm remembering something different.
Okay, so here he says that she ends up separating from him, and that's why he wasn't able to see them. But before, he said he was leaving because he felt uncomfortable and didn't like the vibe there and wanted to get out before it was dark. See, in Nique's interview, when she questions, oh, I heard something different, he basically says that he has receipts of messaging these homeowners that
I can't find my girlfriend and stuff, and
I messaged him to ask for this receipt, and out of all the receipts this man has given me, which we're going to show in the video, he did not show me that receipt. And this seems to be a common pattern, and if you keep watching, you're going to see what else he didn't want to show me.
When I look back, when I got to the cab, she was nowhere in sight.
And not only that, according to Zailey's mother, he didn't lose her. Apparently, he told her that he told Zailey to go home.
I told her to go home.
Which made it sound like there was some type of argument that they had.
Telling her to go home like a dog.
What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section below. Anyway, after he lost her, apparently he went looking for her.
It had been like at least a block and a half since I looked back. She was right behind me at one point. When I didn't see her anymore, I got in the cab and had him drive around and so we could find her, you know. I figured maybe she backtracked or something and I couldn't see her. So that's when let me just get my car and just look for her on my own. And the cab driver just dropped me off at the border crossing, which was not probably like half a mile away from where we were at. And I went over across the border to get my car and I started driving around looking for her for like probably 2 hours before I got pulled over by an officer because I was yelling her name out the window. The officer ended up robbing me for my phone and my money. Had me get all the money out of my bank card at the ATM at 7-Eleven at there on Revolution.
I could not find this ATM, but I did find 7-Eleven, so maybe the ATM was inside, and this is pretty common in Mexico. The chance is a lot more higher though if you are drunk. They definitely take advantage of drunk people over there. He doesn't have his license, so I am wondering if he got caught and the cop was like, okay, cool, give me some money and you're out of this. I won't lock you up.
And after that, I still was driving around looking for her, and another officer pulled me over, trying to shake me down again and let him know that I was just cleaned out by another officer. And at that point, I started getting a little paranoid about the police there, so I stopped driving around and I was just sitting in my car trying to see if I spotted her from the car, and I fell asleep. So the next day, when the sun came up again, I started driving around again for like another 4 hours, looking for her and calling her name out, and to no avail.
Later on, he goes to border control, asks them if they have seen Zailey, but they can't tell her anything because they're not married or anything like that.
Zailey calls me and tells me that she's in Mexico. She didn't seem like she was happy and or safe.
She said, hey mom, I'm in Mexico. I stayed calm with her. I'm like, girl, what are you doing in Mexico? I asked her a couple of questions. I said, how did you get there? She didn't answer. And I'm like, are you okay? She says, yes, I'm okay. I'm like, are you safe? She's like, I'm not sure. Who are you with? I'm with my new friend. She told me that she thought she was gonna die. And my heart dropped because I knew at that point in time, I could not save her. I could not run across the country or across the state even to get her. I didn't yell at her, I didn't talk down to her, I didn't tell her anything negative of the sort. Only thing I could just tell her was, well, you have to go to a hospital. Are you taking your medicine? She didn't answer. I hear somebody talking in the background that has an accent. Like, who is that? She's like, I can't remember the name. But she puts the guy on the phone. He's like, I'm just 19. I'm just trying to help her. She was walking around. She was looking lost. I just took her off the street. I'm trying to help her, but I don't have a lot of money. You have to take her to the embassy or you have to take her to the hospital or the police, because if she's around you, that could put you in a bad spot. I was thinking about everybody's safety at that point. We stayed on the phone for roughly about 5 to 10 minutes. She said that she was gonna die to atone for her sins. I said, is somebody gonna hurt you? She said no. I said, is the person there, is he hurting you now? She said no again. She said that she was safe, but I don't feel like she was honest, or maybe she was just, I don't know, it was just so much like she was incoherent with the conversation. And that was was the weirdest part about it for me, because I knew that she had relapsed big time, because I don't know what kind of reaction that was, or if she didn't seem under duress, but she just wasn't her. Normally in her psychotic breaks, it's a lot clearer than that. But this time I felt like she had just given up on life. And I said, I can't get to you. And she said, Mommy, you won't be able to. And I told her at the end of the call, I said, get your ass home to the United States. You're not from there. You're not safe. I'm going to figure out how to help, but I don't know what to do.
That day, Zailey's mother didn't file a missing report or anything.
And that is something that I have to take with me every single second of the day. I did not report her.
So I stayed at the border for the rest of the day until nighttime, and I didn't see her.
Then wondered, maybe Zailey...
What if she hitched a ride back home?
So he ends up going back home. When he got back home, that's when he realized that Zailey left her Cash App card and her medication at the home. And this is why he feels she was acting different. And he was also looking through her book where she would draw arts, pictures, etc. And she was writing about how much she loved him, how she wanted to be with him. But then she also wrote about logging off, you know, ending it all. While he was looking through that book, he ended up finding a number to a guy named Markel. Now, he gave me the number and I was able to confirm that, yes, this number does belong to someone named Markel. And he made a call and Markel told him this.
A friend or a brother or something that's in the FBI, he said, and that they had pinged her phone to California, and then when they found her, that he was going to have her just move in with him, and he already spoke to his wife about it, have her just live with me and stuff, so she doesn't have to be in this lifestyle anymore. Like, what do you mean this lifestyle? Like, till
now, no one really understands who this Markel guy is, how he was able to look and pinpoint if she was in California. It's really strange. Ricardo ends up going to the LAPD to file for a missing report, but they didn't make a report because this happened in Mexico, and told Ricardo he had to go back to make a missing report over there.
And I got an Obama phone when I came out here, just to replace my phone, and her phone's still going to voicemail. I got back to LA and I started thinking, well, maybe I should just like blast this on social media. Maybe somebody knows where she's at, you know?
But during that time, he never ended up posting anything publicly on social media that I know of.
I didn't know what her mom's number was or her name, or if she even cared. Her dad's name or number I didn't have either, because she was just speaking with him directly through her phone.
He ended up calling the hospitals in Mexico to see that she went there. He said that he checked his voice messages on his missing phone through a Horizon account.
I ended up hustling up another phone so I can go back out there and some more gas money.
And then finally on January the 17th, he ends up going back to Mexico. So he goes there, he goes looking for her. Then on the 18th, he goes to make a police report that she's missing, but he wasn't able to
because it was like an overflow of people there.
And he comes back on the 19th and makes the missing police report.
With the state investigators there in Baja. After I reported it, I went back out on the streets with this guy that I was a neighbor of mine when I was growing up. He lives out there. And I felt like it was almost pointless, so I came back the next day.
From what I see, the only time he posted something online was on Facebook group page.
It was a page for missing people in Tijuana.
And this is when things took a crazy turn. He started getting calls from people in Mexico claiming to have Zailey.
They were just demanding money and me wire the money. And I was just not comfortable sending them any kind of money without first making contact with her, you know?
But before the phone call, he was getting these messages on Facebook. Now, he did end up sharing these messages on his Instagram, right? But when I got them, there was like a poll right in the middle. So it was really hard to work out the words behind the words. So even Google Translate couldn't pick it up. So I asked a follower YouTuber named Down the Rabbit Hole News to help me to translate. Keep in mind, I do not have these messages all in order. Because Ricardo, when he posted it on Instagram, he didn't have them in order. He just put it out there with the damn poll on it. So just to keep that in mind when we go through these messages, translating them.
Is like, what do you call it out? Like the attorney. Is there the attorney? And then Fernanda types in RRK Kevin 41, RR Kevin 41.
Yeah, I saw that.
Fernanda responds, and sometimes she's over here. And then it's covered in that area, so I can't really make out. But then he responds, give me 3 to 4 hours to collect money for gasoline. The person, Fernanda, responds, yes. Regardless, the commander, Kevin, you're going to lose support for the expenses because of the people that died en el enfrentamiento. Si ella está bien, is the next message. ¿Me puedes propinar tu número? Can you give me your phone number de teléfono para que se comunique contigo and then that thing is over it. There's the number. ¿Dónde está ella? Where is she? She's in Tijuana, in a zone llamada La Cahuila. So let's look that up real quick. Yeah, and this is Tijuana. They just misspelled it. This must be the area. Se te va a perder. It's weird, the tone here. Basically, she's saying you're going to miss the opportunity for $500. Or how you can support the cartel from Jalisco. Jalisco is a state in Mexico. He says, I'm going to sell my computer. It's all I have that has value. And I'm going to ask to borrow. Yes. So Commander Kevin, usually Comandante, is somebody in the police. They can drop her closer to California. That way you don't have to struggle. So it would make sense because he's saying, I don't have enough money for gas. It's going to take me 3 or 4 hours to get gas. I'm her pareja is like a couple. I'm her couple. We live together. I can't really read. Si bien, gracias a tips. Dios no ti. I don't know what he means by tips. So basically this person that they're calling him Kevin Hernandez. I don't know if he's real or not. Closer to can you give me your number de teléfono so I can communicate? That way Kevin can contact you over here regarding Tijuana Centro.
He then gives her or him the number and then asks, where is she?
But it sounds like, I'm going to tell you what this sounds like to me. Igual manera, regardless, Commander Kevin, it feels like he's going to lose support for the expenses for the people that died in el enfrentamiento. I'm just wondering if there was other dealings. Something about support us with 500, how you can support the Jalisco cartel. Because in that context, he says, me bascularon los en municipio.
Now, she didn't understand that word, but my friend who's Argentina, he speaks Spanish, she didn't understand that word. But my Mexican friends who live in Mexico, they understood that word. And basically they're saying that they stole from his bag or something, or stole his wallet. Basically talking about how his money got stolen, something like that.
I'm going to sell my computer. It's all that I have that has any value. Y voy a pedir prestado, and then I'm going to ask to borrow. To keep the commander informed, Commander Kevin informed. 3 to 4 hours para juntar dinero para gasolina. 3 to 4 hours to save money or gather money for gas. The reason why I'm contacting you is to verify. Are you a family member? And also to confirm that you are responsible for her and that I can return her to you in Tijuana Central. When you send the money for the capture of the ticket, that's not even a word. It's a website. It's basically, she's saying more money and check to see if the money's in the account. Diferencia, the difference? No, it's not it. That can't be it. Lord have mercy, these people are making up words too. So they're going to check if the money is in the account. Then the words are covering that.
Dinero, por favor. Something about...
Yeah, something like that.
What money, please, or...
This person is communicating for another person. Duanda. I feel like that's debt. When the debt passes over, y ella está del lado americano, when she's on the American side. De la, and then comunica, and then it cuts off there. Maybe the other message will clarify that. What you talk to and the principal.
Now, as you can see here, he ended up posting some of these messages on Facebook because he's like, es mío, meaning my love. And she showed him that she can see it. She's like, good. But I don't know what she means by checa. And I'm assuming he's probably asking people for money, and that's why she's like, good. They're going to communicate with him when they're in America?
Yes, I don't think he knows because their Spanish is, you know what I'm saying? Like the Spanish can be very hard if you're not living in there. You know?
Yeah, because they come up with their own Spanish words.
Yes, and I think that's what we're seeing here.
Of course, when I see this, I'm like, this ain't the cartel. The cartel ain't gonna ask for $500. I think it's some gang in Mexico. When I was living in Mexico, I've had people tell me how people will call stores pretending to be the cartel so they can get some money. So it is very common in Mexico, and it does happen. It's used as a threat to gain some money and to take advantage of people who are living in fear of the cartel. Nique at Night also received some messages, but it seems that she received messages that I didn't have.
She was translating it. She said that there was talk about him driving 2 cars through the border with dope. 1 car went through with two pounds, and another car had 4 pounds or something like that. And there was mention of him like arranging stuff with the cartel or whatever. So I'm like, did he accidentally send you the wrong messages? Did he not know he sent you this? Like, what's going on? He was telling them how the mom is the one who has the money. They need to contact the mom. She's the one who's going to be giving them the money, all this stuff like that. Now, he initiated contact with them. So per the messages that we have, it shows that he started the message with this person. He sent them a picture and he sent them a video, and then they replied back to him.
Now, I believe the reason for this is because the people got him to message another account. Because if you look at my pictures, you would see that he messaged a girl. And I believe this is a fake picture that they found on the internet. And she was the one that first started talking to him. They must have found his post on that Facebook group page. Makes sense. Vulnerable people. Easy to scam. So, they must have got him to message another account, because as you can see here, the DP pictures are very different.
Going through Tijuana with 2 pounds or 4 pounds. Do you know what that's about?
I don't know. They were saying that they were going to come over here in a convoy with her and bring her to I told them to meet me at the gas station here by my house, but they never came through. They were just bullshitting. They wanted me to just wire them money. I was going to give them my car, because I told them I didn't have the cash that they wanted. So I told them, what if I just give you my Jeep, as long as they would give me Zailey back safely.
Now, again, I have asked Ricardo multiple times to give these messages in order. Until this day, he still has not given me these messages. It honestly seems like he does not want anyone to see, because it's going to reveal something. It's going to show something of him looking really bad and terrible.
It wasn't too long after I posted online that she was missing on Instagram. Actually, I started reaching out to everybody on her Instagram to see if anybody had heard from her.
So Ricardo ends up going through Zailey's friend list on Instagram and starts messaging everyone.
My daughter notifies me that there's some random guy that's sending her messages on her Instagram. I'm like, okay. She's like, he's asking about Zailey. Block him, screenshot the information, send it to me, I'll deal with it.
Somebody was like, have you contacted her mom? And I was like, no, if you let her know that she's missing and I'm looking for her.
We started getting contacts from random people on Instagram, me and my entire family. They were sending us screenshots of Ricardo de la Torre's information and things that he was posting.
I reach out to him and he sends me these screenshots that are in Spanish, and then he sends me Ricardo's Instagram. So at that point, I'm like, what? I don't read Spanish. I'm low-key panicking because I know I see $500.
They forwarded me her Instagram page, and that's when I contacted her and let her know that I was like, hey, Zailey's missing, please contact me as soon as possible, and I gave her my phone number.
By clicking that Instagram page that was sent to me, and lo and behold, you have a picture of Ricardo and Zailey that's all over the internet. And it was like a video, if you will. It was like a reel where he was like, if Zailey was your baby, would you go and find her? So immediately I'm pissed off. So I immediately go in the comments and I'm like, who are you? Take this down. You're not even spelling her name right. I go to his inbox to message him. His phone number's already there. Like, damn, like he was waiting on me, but never contacted me. He sent somebody else, or somebody else got a hold of the things that he was posting, the people he was reaching out to, God knows what.
He is 43 years old and he claims to be Zailey's boyfriend.
He ends up saying, basically, cartel claims they're holding Zailey as a SEX worker. Don't tell cops or you're both FDAD. We want $500. We'll get her back. We will bring her to you. I have not heard a word in 2 weeks, and her journal sounds like she was getting ready to log herself off. She's like, F dude, 500? He goes, she needs all the help we can muster to try to find her. I doubt they had enough because I asked them to let me talk to her.
So I called him off top, like, where's my baby at?
So at this point, Ricardo, Zailey's mother, are in a panic. He's sending her so many things.
His driver's license picture, his car, what his license plate number was, the cross streets, what his cross streets looked like. He was just too open to me because I'm not gonna give anybody my address.
Telling her so much information.
How did you lose her? We were walking and I told her to go home, and I'm immediately offended because I'm like, you're telling her to go home like a dog? He was speaking so fumbled and just real mush mouth. And I'm like, do you do drugs? No, I only smoke weed. Bullshit. At that point, by then I'm already talking real rough to him. I'm not about to be nice to this cat for nothing. Like,
she mentioned that that Zailey had called her. She didn't sound happy or safe. And I was like, okay, but what was discussed? And she didn't want to discuss it any further at that point.
At this point, she did not trust Ricardo at all, doesn't like him at all. His Facebook has stuff about being arrested, getting out of jail. He had a fiance before around June, July in 2022, only a couple of months now. He has a new fiance.
This is your first conversation having with the love of your life that you just met middle of December. This is the love of your life now. You are too old to be having butterflies in your stomach over a 21-year-old girl. And that's red flag. Just really didn't get nowhere. He told me a whole bunch of unsavory crap that didn't make no sense. He mentioned smuggling humans. I don't know the validity behind that. That ain't none of my business, none of my concern, allegedly. And this is the first conversation. So this is why I have this type of anger when I talk about him, because it is very, very unnerving that somebody is actually moving like that with a mother.
This guy has been shot in the head. Maybe his way of thinking, how he acts, is totally different from another mature adult.
I'm definitely not excusing his weird behavior though, and if he will be somewhat involved.
Now, April ends up calling the police, 911. They end up transferring her to a 311 number. No one picks up, and she's like, you know what? It's out of their jurisdiction. They won't be able to do anything, which is most likely true. She ends up trying to call the FBI. She wasn't able to get a hold of them, so that night she's crying, she's panicking, she's upset. Then the next day, she ends up calling Ricardo.
It felt like he was feeding me information. So I don't know if you had somebody type out this document and you put a telephone number on it, and I call and I talk to his homeboy.
So she doesn't trust Ricardo at all at this point. She's looking through his Facebook and stuff. So she decides to go on TikTok to get the answers.
My 21-year-old daughter is missing. She is in Tijuana, Mexico. Where? It's so many moving parts to the situation. All I really need is for y'all to point me in the right direction on who I'm supposed to contact, because nobody's answering the phone. I called the FBI in Las Vegas, Nevada. They're not answering. Whoever these people that are holding my daughter for ransom and using her as a slave.
Now, she did end up getting a hold of the FBI, and they end up having an open case. As well as that, she ended up contacting the people that were claiming to have Zailey.
I reached out to them in Messenger. Like I said, it's an open case, so I can't really go too far, but it got real weird.
And they end up sending her pictures, because of course you want to have proof of Zailey's life before you send money. Now, I think the pictures that she has is the same photos they gave me, which I will show you guys if you keep watching. The FBI now has an open case. Her story is starting to get viral all over social media. Ricardo starts getting dragged all over social media, so he starts posting Bible verses all over his wall. People start calling him, asking for answers to explain everything. RatchetTV gets an interview. Nique at Night gets an interview with Ricardo. And another person on Facebook ends up calling the people claiming to have Zailey. She ends up recording the conversation they had. I had Down the Rabbit Hole News translate this for me. Roll it.
Repeat what you said. Where's Zailey? I need the number in reference to... I have the girl, just to liberate her.
Sí, dime, la clave.
Dime la clave. Give me the key or the clue Where is Zailey? Google Translate. She is with me. I'm only waiting for you to send me the key/clue so I can liberate her. And I think that they're referencing, you know how like in money you get the little key number?
Yeah.
That's what they're referencing when it comes to that.
The voucher.
La foto, and I can't make out what he says on that when he ends that sentence.
Sí.
Do you really have her?
Sí, la tengo. Por eso te
I
estoy
do have her.
pidiendo
This
el
is why I'm
voucher
asking you for the voucher. What does that mean?
para liberártela.
So we can liberate her. You know, sometimes we make up our own Spanish words, and I think that that might be a good example of one. Who are you and where's Zailey? I have the money. Give me 1 second. Here comes this guy.
Well,
Is she alive? Is she still alive?
I don't know.
It sounds like he says, I don't know. So he responds in English.
¿Hablas español? Ahorita no me pides. Ahorita viene, ahorita le pides mi llamada.
Right here, he says, here, or right now, it's gonna, my sister, something about his sister. Right now, my sister's coming. Something to that effect.
No puede que siga la línea.
Don't hang up. Stay on the line. Someone said you had her.
¿Cómo?
What?
Sí, dígame.
Yes, tell me.
Escucho.
I'm listening. Do you have Zailey?
Oh, sí, sí.
Yes, she's with me.
Dígame.
Tell me.
¿Qué te hace a ti?
What is she to you? That's what it sounds like. He's asking. Where is she? She's missing.
¿Cómo?
What? ¿Cómo? How?
A ver, de nuevo, dígame.
Tell me.
Miren.
To be exact, I do have her.
Is that another person?
It sounds like it's two people that are kind of switching off the phone. And if you can actually hear earlier, he said something about mi hermana. So there might be a woman involved as well, based on what they're saying. We might have to slow it down and pull it apart and slow it down in terms of how they're talking because it's so muffled. Because it almost sounds like there's music in the background too. I don't know if you hear that.
Yeah, I can hear this whoop, whoop in the back.
Yeah, it's just so weird.
Like a fan or something.
Para ser exacto, sí la tengo. Yo estoy pidiendo $5,000 por ella.
To be exact, I do have her, and I'm asking for $5,000.
$5,000, so $5,000. I think people got confused and thought he said 500.
So he says, to be exact, I do have her, and I'm asking for 5,000 for her.
okay.
Escucha.
Are you listening?
Dime si por aquí tú me los puedes.
Tell me if you can liberate her. She is missing. Yes, exactly.
Mira, pues ahora es que yo a ella la recuperé, mujer. Discúlpame que no te entienda yo mucho.
I recovered her. I recovered her, woman. I'm sorry I don't understand the English. So he said, I recovered her. I don't know if he got her from somebody else. Yo la recuperé a ella. That's what he says. I recovered her. I'm sorry if I don't understand very well the English, but how do I tell you? Yes, I'm asking for $5,000.
Ricardo, pues, según si va a ser responsable y no.
This Ricardo, he was supposed to respond, but no. Do you have her? He says, uh-huh.
Sí, dime.
Yes, tell me.
Sí.
Can we recover her?
Claro que sí puede usted.
Of course you can, you.
Mira, tengo el dinero.
I have the money.
¿Cómo? El dinero quiero $5,000 por ella.
What? I want 5,000 for her.
Tengo el dinero, ¿cuánto?
I have the money.
Pues mira, si tú lo tienes ahorita mismo, pues ahorita mismo.
He says, if you have the money, well, right now I can send you an account.
Dime, porque tomaste.
He says, tell me. And then the translator said something about because you drank. So there's a mistranslation there.
Yeah, Google Translate does that sometimes.
¿Por qué te la llevaste?
Why did you take her in Google Translate?
No, yo no me la llevé. Mira.
He says, no, I didn't take her.
A ella, yo la rescaté.
Her, I rescued her. Martin, remember when we said earlier, he said something about he had recovered her?
Yeah.
Now, so this is somebody. Oh, okay. Let's keep watching.
Tenían en un bar.
I rescued her. They had her in a bar. Oh, they had her there working.
Al marido, pues es un, ahora sí que pues, no quiso hacerse cargo.
El marido, the husband, who is Ricardo.
The husband had her working. Is that what he's saying?
Yes, but he's referring Ricardo as the husband. You live with somebody, domestic, it's considered a husband culturally. So he's saying that ahí la traía trabajando. He had her working there. He's calling him a drug addict.
Ricardo a drug addict.
Yes. She's in good hands. We haven't hurt her. She hasn't been beat.
They said you have Zailey.
They said you have Zailey. How much for her? Google Translate. Well, now I was asking for $10,000, like I was saying. Will you tell me how much you want for her, and then we'll make the negotiation. I'm asking you for $10,000, but you make the offer. Do you understand?
Okay. Mira.
Oui.
Aquí a ella no se le ha tocado ni un pelo ni nada.
For her, we haven't even touched of hair. And then it's interrupted by the Google Translate. Can I call you later on with the money?
Pues tú dime en qué tiempo para que no.
Well, you tell me when and what time, because...
Yeah.
Ajá, a ver, dime.
Yes, tell me. Can I call you later on with the money?
Sí, claro que sí.
Yes, of course. What time you tell me?
¿Me escuchas?
Are you listening? Can you hear me?
Okay, te llamo en un.
All right, I'll call you in a bit, basically.
Entonces en una hora, okay.
He says, okay, in an hour, okay.
Aquí está el otro joven encargado.
He said, aquí está otro. It sounds like it says otro or otra. Another or her, entregada, turned in. So I don't know if that means, is he referencing her or another person? She is turned in here, or another person, otra or otro joven entregada? Could be more than one. That's a hard thing to make out, though. We need to know if she's alive first.
Someone in that gang, in that group of people, can actually speak a little bit English. And it's very hard for me to make out what they said. I did put fonts on the words that I could make out. For the words that I sort of sound like that word, but I wasn't too sure, I put a question mark and in commas. And if I didn't understand what they said, I just put question marks. So, check it out.
Do you understand me?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
What did you say?
I won $10,000.
$10,000?
Yeah.
Okay, but we need proof that she's alive. Yeah.
Do you hear me?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, look. I was calling because of David, yeah. It's because I got a lot of stuff on here. Some old boys. Okay, we just found him right on this side.
Y'all just found her?
What?
Y'all just found her? Hello?
Okay. Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Do you know him? David Sanchez?
Yeah.
Yeah. He gave us his number. They called him.
You said y'all...
He couldn't remember anything. And because he wrecked on a car.
He worked on a car?
Yeah, he got a wreck on the car.
He got in a wreck?
Yeah, in the car. Yeah, he got in a wreck on the car.
And he left Zailey?
What?
And what happened to Zailey? How did you guys get her?
Because we were pushing down there, our push people. They found him. My boy just found him. In New Orleans, okay? So we help him. We take him to our safety house. You know, we give him some food. He couldn't barely remember anything. So we give him some food and we wait. But he only gave us this number. He didn't give us no names, no nothing. Couldn't remember anything. That's how I say it.
And then, so what about her?
So I just want you to know, are y'all going to take charge of him? So I can just go back and take the picture so y'all can see the weekend. I don't know. Then maybe we can talk about.
You say are you still sending us pictures?
I can take a picture about. I can go to the vacant house and take him a picture. But it's gonna take me a while, like 1 hour.
Okay. And so Zailey So we're looking for a girl named Zailey. Is that who you have?
No. You say I'm looking for a girl named Zailey?
Yeah.
That's what you're looking for?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So you're trying to look for the girl, not a boy. Yeah, we got some almost the same. You understand? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Tell me, what we gonna do with this?
The girl, like, where is she at? Do y'all not know?
The girl is fine. She's okay.
So
we already sent some proof of life.
You already sent proof of life?
Yeah. I'm saying.
Where? Where did you send it?
What you looking for, Doctor?
I'm sorry?
This who you are looking for? Zailey?
Yeah, Zailey, the girl.
Who are you from Zailey?
Family member.
Yeah, we talked to her mom.
Okay, and so, like, how did y'all even get her? Cause he said that y'all took her. So how did y'all get her?
So tell me, are y'all gonna take charge of her? Cause I can't keep them here no more.
Huh?
I can't keep the girl here no more.
Why?
What you mean why? Cause she wants to go back, man. What you mean why?
Well, yeah, but like, how did y'all get her in the first place?
So this is when I find out about the story, right? So I'm gathering information, putting receipts and everything together, and I see this number Ricardo posted on his Instagram showing like, hey, these are the people that are calling me, etc., claiming to have Zailey. He lived in Mexico. You know, pretty much everyone has WhatsApp. So I saved the number in my WhatsApp because I knew it would probably give me a picture of their display of their profile, WhatsApp profile. And it was a picture of a truck, right, of this car, right? So I'm like, okay, that's really interesting. So I messaged these people and I'm like, okay, show me proof of life. Y'all, they send me these photos. This day, I don't know what they used, but I definitely feel like it's some type of app where, you know how you could take a picture of someone's face and then it transforms into these cool pictures and stuff. I think it's one of those apps. But they also send me a random picture of this young girl. So I'm thinking, did he just accidentally send me someone that he knew? He ends up unsending all the pictures, by the way. He probably thinks I'm dumb and gonna have a quick glance and then he takes it off and then I'm not gonna notice that it looks edited. So clearly this is definitely not the cartel because this ain't smooth. This is some fraud, scammers trying to do some it. That doesn't mean Ricardo wasn't having some weird conversation with them. And I feel like he probably tried to make a deal with them to try to get her back. Now guys, there is a lot more information and there's more information on why she was actually in Tijuana for so long. But I don't know, you're gonna have to convince me in the comment section to make another video because it's a lot. I do know a little bit of information of who was helping her and where she was staying. But let me tell you the important stuff. So far, she has been found, according to the mother, she has been found. Also, according to the mother, Zailey is still in Mexico and she does not want to go back from the sounds of it. She's not back there with her mother, nada. She's in Mexico still, where Ricardo is at the moment still looking for her. Ricardo hasn't been too honest and been very manipulative on Instagram lately, but again, if you want me to talk about that, that will be another video. But it is sad because you hope she's on her medication. If not, she's basically there. It's really up in the air. Hey guys, while you're here, make sure to check out this video on a case that I feel does need a lot of attention. Actually, I put two videos here.